Elves have a reputation for questionable judgment, and the gods of the elven races are no exception. When Teclis and a battalion of Lumineth are discovered trespassing in the realm of Ulgu, Khaine decides to confront them herself. With her Scaff Coven at her side, the newly ascended Shadow Queen seeks to prove she can no longer be pushed aside. With their legions of followers ready to clash, it may be mere mortals that tip the balance in this battle of gods.
Hello and welcome to Season of War. We have an exciting game today. As Oliver, you're back for another game with your Daughters of Khaine here today. A matchup voted on by our premium members. I wanted to play my Lumineth, and with you coming out, you had a few armies that we haven't seen on the channel yet.
It was super tight. Stormcast, by a nail, just missed it. So I'm sure there'll be another opportunity to bring them out to the table.
Yeah, and you also have Sons of Behemoth, so a few armies that we'd love to have on the channel. So I'll definitely look forward to seeing those as well. But today it's Daughters of Khaine. This is a heavy hitter. Again, probably the best option for going against Lumineth.
Yeah.
Two strong meta armies here. You know, obviously elves are always the best armies in the
Fortunately, unfortunately,
Oh, it's all good. For us elf lovers at least.
Yeah, of course.
And actually just talking about our premium members, I want to go over our membership goal. Our current one right now is to do an extra battle port a month that's a specialty game of one format or another, either like doubles or like a team game or 4,000 points or the custom hero game. So just different ways to introduce different styles and kind of game formats and mix things up, have some fun, and get some different kind of battle reports on the channel. And then our goal after that is to start doing 4 extra battle reports a month for our premium members exclusively. So again, the premium members support the channel. They're really the backbone of us being able to do this and invest in new armies and new terrain and tables and all the time it takes to get them all ready, as well as editing and that. So it's all thanks to our premium members that we're able to keep doing what we're doing. So appreciate all the support we're able to get through that. And then this is printable scenery terrain as normal, and always want to give a shout out to X Planet, as that's how I get my hordes and hordes of elves. Those guys help me out in terms of getting all the models I want on the table. But for today's game, we're playing focal points here. So 5 objectives. We store 1 point for all of them except for the center one, which is 2. But if you hold 2 of the objectives on one flank, you score an additional 3rd point for holding both of them. So some interesting storing, and actually you also get an extra point for monsters in this one. So you have Morathi, I've got Teclis. Yeah, they're gonna, I don't want them to go to toe at all.
It's a real god showdown. We'll see.
Yeah.
Both add value in their own ways, but combat is not where Teclis wants to be.
Not against Morathi. And then the game is taking place in the realm of Ulgu, so home field advantage a little bit for the Daughters of Khaine, although the line of sight blocking terrain hurts you more than it does me.
A little bit for the bow snakes.
Yeah.
A little bit for the bow snakes.
And there's the command ability for the short range teleport. And a spell that does damage based on your armor save. The worse it is, the more damage it does.
Yep. So a little bit more harmful to me than to Jordan, but I don't think overall it's going to be the go-to spell.
No, it's not.
For the game.
I've got way too many spells I want to cast as it is, so I don't think we'll be using that. But let's get into things today. Do you want to take us through your army list first?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm running the Celebron Temple, so -1 to hit against shooting army wide. Helps a little bit against all the Sentinels that Jordan has, but it's still not going to affect the mortal wounds, right? So that's still going to be a challenge. I have both Morathis, of course, little Morathi with Mind Razor spell. My general is the Bloodrack Medusa in the back. She has the Celebron artifact, which is exploding 6s on her -1 Ren, D3 damage attack. And her spell is Mirror Dance, so I can pick 2 characters. It used to be swapping them. Now it's actually a deep strike for both of those 2 characters in the hero phase. A little bit more movement capabilities. She's also, her or Little Morathi, since they're both generals, can teleport a unit in the movement phase as well. So potentially lots of teleport. And then my final character is a Hag Queen on foot who has the Iron Circlet for re-rolling my prayer, which is Sacrament of Blood. Went for the advancing the battle round. in the hopes of being able to get some of those reroll to charge or reroll to ones or to wound or hit later in the game.
Yeah, just add consistency.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the characters. I have a battalion, which is a Scrath Coven, immune to battle shock for both my 2 units of snakes and the Kunnerai,
Nice.
which is going to be helpful in this matchup for sure. Then I have a unit of Shadow Stalkers, and my final battle line is a unit of 10 Witches.
Cool.
So that's them. Concluding it, my army list is 2,000 points on the nose.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, Jordan's list also 2,000 points on the nose. So not giving away a triumph with that little bit of a gamble there.
Yes.
Which is a good segue to his intro.
Yeah, for sure. So my list, pretty typical Orlan Legion. So 2 units of Wardens, 130 block, a 10 block, 2 units of Sentinels, a 10 over here and a 20 over here. With the Cathlar in the battalion, then otherwise I just have the Lord Regent and Teclis. Obviously, Teclis knows all the spell lore. The Lord Regent has Lambent Light, and the Cathlar has Total Eclipse. So, I mean, between all that, I have all the options I need. Ethereal Blessing and Speed of Hish on my Wardens and Sentinels, just so I have that on both sides.
Yeah. And the Total Eclipse is going to be quite handy for you in this matchup because with the Hero Phase ability, Marathi, I could shoot or fight in the combat phase or in the hero phase, which is pretty big.
Limiting that's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely want to try and do that. And then we did choose auxiliary objectives today. So the 2 I chose were Marked for Death was the first one. So you have to choose a unit for me to try and kill.
And I was humming and hawing. I thought maybe I go with the bow snakes, but decided to. They're too much of a vulnerable target, so I'm going to go with my big block of 15 snakes.
Sounds good. And then my other one was Overwhelms. So for this one, I just have to get a unit of my battle line to kill one of your heroes. Now, obviously, I mean, Marathi, maybe late game, mid to late game they'll do it, but you do have some small, weaker heroes otherwise. So hopefully in combat I can kill them with my Wardens.
And then on my side, decided to go with Vengeful Counter, an opportunity to kill one of Jordan's units, and mine can't take a punch, so figured that would be a likely outcome. And then the other one was Marked for Death, so Jordan had to pick one of his heroes.
Yeah, so choosing Teclis here.
Yeah, which, I mean, you don't want him in combat anyway, so it's not a bad choice. If Teclis is getting in combat, it's generally not a great time
and
for
it's
Jordan,
like
or
late game and very situational.
Yeah, so
definitely don't want him in charge range of Marathi.
Exactly. Because I'm a 6-drop with this list, it means that Jordan with his battalion is going to have the choice first.
I was 3 drops, so exactly, I do have choice here. And I don't think it's any surprise here, but I am going to take first turn with Lumineth. So with that, we can jump right into round 1 with Lumineth Realmlords going first.
Before the first battle round begins, Alumnia's Claim the Field ability allows 3 units to make a pre-game move. Teclis chose to cast 4 spells, starting off with the Hishian Twinstones, and then casting Ethereal Blessing on the 30 Wardens. The 10 Wardens cast Speed of Hish on the units of 20 Sentinels. This is followed by the remaining Wardens and both units of Sentinels casting Power of Hish on themselves. The Lord Regent casts Lambent Light on the Bloodstalkers, marking them as the likely target for the Sentinels later in the turn. Teclis then casts Protection of Teclis, but was unbound, so he responds by casting Protection of Hish. The Cathalar's artifact, the Silver Wand, allows her to cast 2 spells, failing Mystic Shield to start but successfully casting Total Eclipse. Alumnia Wardens have the potential to be extremely quick, but have opted to hold in the center, and the army remains in a defensive position. In the shooting phase, the units of Sentinels combine to take down 7 Bloodstalkers, mitigating the long-range output from the Daughters of Khaine. Finishing their turn, the Lumineth claim 3 objectives, scoring 4 points. They also score 1 additional because Teclis is a monster, bringing their total to 5 for the turn.
All right, so Lumineth turn 1, pretty much staying in my castle, just trying to, literally in my castle here with the terrain actually, but just really was trying to, again, stay a little defensive here. I decided with my pre-day movements, I wasn't going to like try to throw my 30 block of Wardens into you with Morathi, and like, it just doesn't really make sense here. I can play in this little triangle, be safe, defensive, and play for the, without having to overextend.
For sure.
Using, though, as we saw in this turn, my Sentinels to be my long-range threat to cripple some of your stuff.
And I mean, like, it worked as a strategy because, like, I mean, in my deployment, I knew about Jordan's threat. We kind of talked it through a little bit too.
Yeah.
And like, it forced me to sit my big kind of hammer unit or back at the edge of the board. So I think it's the right move given that like what happened in your hero phase.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and so big things. Again, most of my spell casting went off fine. You did unbind though Protection of Teclis, which is the 18-inch bubble of the 5-foot Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
But I did later get Protection of Hish off, which is the 9-inch bubble. So
yeah.
Some of my units are protected, not everything, but still have that defensive bubble up because you can't cast them both at the same turn, but because you unbound the one, I was able to cast the second one. So good little backup here. And then, with my shooting, I did kill, 8 bows? Or 7 of your bow snakes?
7 of the bow snakes. So the bow snakes are pretty crippled. Like they're not going to be a powerhouse unit, but like also kind of why I go with them in the units of 10 because it's like
you
did pump 30 Sentinels into them with the bonuses and cast and everything. Could have hurt a lot of other stuff. So all in all, like would have hoped to keep a few more alive, but it's not the end of the world. At least I don't have to take the battle shock.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing.
Yes, in Strath Coven, and you are always going to lose units, right? So you're a little more diversified. So it's not too shabby.
And I would like to point out Jordan made a great move here, moving his hero back. Could have came up here and tried to wipe out my left flank, but it wasn't the right time, and I would have put Morathi deep striking behind here.
Yeah. So I just I ran back here just to protect my backfield. Obviously Teclis, I just try to keep him safe. Yeah. And especially this is all zoned out here. Yeah, exactly. So very much defensive as Lumineth likes to be. I didn't break any of my shining companies. Again, not wanting to jump into run and charge. I'm just able to sit here defensively and trying to make you come into me, which obviously you're good at, but I'm a little more defensive because of it. And otherwise, I do store 2 points for the center one over here, and 2 for this objective because Teclis is a monster. And gives me that extra point. So 5 for turn 1, so good start, and puts the ball in your court. As we will jump into Daughters of Khaine, turn 1.
The Daughters of Khaine start their turn looking to respond with a counterpunch of their own. Morathi casts Black Horror of Ulgu on the Sentinels, who ignore it because of the aura of Selenar. She then fails to cast the Bloodrack Viper, and has Mind Razor auto-unbound by Teclis. The Hag Queen fails Witch Brew, but gets the Sacrament of Blood Prayer on the Shadow Queen. Finishing off the hero phase, the Medusa casts Mirror Dance, but it is also unbound. As the army advances, the Shadow Queen moves forward aggressively, and the Life Takers use the Calibron ability Master of the Shadow Path to teleport and threaten the Lumineth objective. In the shooting phase, the remaining Bloodstalkers kill 2 Sentinels, but the Shadow Queen doesn't connect with her gaze. The aggressive movement does not pay off, as the Life Takers and the Shadow Queen both fail their charges, and the Daughters of Khaine end their turn scoring 2 points.
Interesting Daughters of Khaine turn, as you would expect against a techless Lumineth build. Struggled to get spells off. I did get Black Horror of Ulgu off, but was reflected because of techless on
4 up in Nor.
Yeah, so ended up doing nothing to the Sentinels.
But
so
they weren't in range to reflect it to anything. It just fizzled.
Yeah, just fizzled. So no harm there. Got my prayer off to advance the battle round for Marathi. Was hoping that that would give me a reroll 1 on the charge and give me another chance. Unfortunately, rolled a 4 on the charge, and because of the 2 CP, I chose to teleport in the movement phase the Kunarai. Kind of going for a bit of a gamble, hoping to claim the right flank here from Jordan, where his unit was actually outside of the 5+ bubble. While there was a chance there, so I'm pretty vulnerable as a result, unless I get the double. So really playing into that right now. On the plus side, we've seen past battle reports, and we know how Jordan rolls, so there's always that going for me. Some first blood on my side, but a pretty uneventful Daughters of Khaine turn 1. So we'll see what happens as we roll for battle round 2.
Yes, sir. It's a 4.
And I got a 3, so I think we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, no reason not to take it here. Again, just with the Sentinels still being alive and everything, it's just another turn of getting to deal with a threat. So with that, we will be jumping into top of round 2 with Lumineth going first.
Taking the initiative this round, Teclis auto-dispels the Hessian Twinstones and chooses to cast 4 spells. He starts off recasting the Hessian Twinstones in addition to Protection of Teclis and casting Ethereal Blessing on the 30 Wardens. Both units of Wardens and Sentinels cast Power of Hysh. The Cathalar then hits the Shadow Queen with an Arcane Bolt before casting Total Eclipse. Rounding out the hero phase, Teclis casts Transporting Vortex to teleport the Lord Regent, allowing him to cast Lambent Light on the Life Takers. In the shooting phase, Teclis deals 2 wounds to the Shadow Queen, so she has now taken her 3 for the turn. The 20 Sentinels then kill the Life Takers, and the units of 8 deal 1 wound to the Bloodstalkers. The Lumineth Realmlords again end their turn, scoring 5 points, as they look to take advantage of winning priority by building an early lead.
Well, that hurt.
So obviously things are going well for me right now. Obviously, big thing was outdropping you in this match and then winning turn 2 priority just after you failed both your charges. And
I gambled, and that's what happens when you gamble.
Sometimes, yep. So here, again, I don't need to push because I'm on the center and I'm getting an extra point for my monster. So I'm scoring 5 again this round. I did Braid Shining Company over here to clean up if there was anything to clean up, but after the Sentinels, there was nothing to clean up. And then Teclis,
well played.
Yeah, got his shot off on Marathi, doing 2 wounds,
Pretty big.
Yeah, and then did with the Arcane Bolt, it meant I got my 3 wounds on Morathi this turn, meaning, that's just one more turn trying to on her clock.
Especially because you didn't do anything the first turn, so now at least the clock has started.
Yeah.
If you didn't do the max this turn, she's pretty much staying around for most of the match.
Yeah.
But
the big thing is, obviously, with those big hero models, is at least for now, maybe 3.0 will change it, but they're only one model for the purposes of scoring. So
exactly.
Puts you in a tough spot again with the 30 block being ethereal here again.
Yeah,
they're gonna be hard to shift.
Yeah, the spell casting went really well.
Yeah.
Jordan and I talked about it, but like the Twin Stones, dispelling that one at the start was a cascading effect. Like I didn't do it. I said let it go, and then you had a bunch of like 4/5s that
became 9s.
That became 9s that I failed to roll, and then everything else went off.
Yeah.
So
very integral spell for Lumineth.
I guess that's the round. You're up on me a lot on points, but we'll see what Daughters of Khaine have as sneaky tricks up their sleeve to come back here.
Bottom of round 2. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The magic struggles continue for the Daughters of Khaine as Morathi fails to cast the Blood Rack Viper and Mind Razor, and has Black Horror of Ulgu unbound. However, the Hag Queen does pray for the Sacrament of Blood on Morathi before the Medusa casts Mirror Dance, teleporting both the Shadow Queen and the Hag Queen. Then the Hag Queen fails her Witch Brew on the Shadow Stalkers before they Shadow Leap to join the Shadow Queen behind their enemies. In shooting, the Shadow Queen's gaze kills 2 sentinels, but the Bloodstalkers deal no damage. Looking to charge, the Shadow Stalkers fail, but the Shadow Queen does manage to get into her divine counterpart. Before combat, Teclis uses all-out defense for free from the Shrine Guardian and spends his Aether Quartz for +1 to save. Looking to cut the head from the Lumineth forces, the Shadow Queen deals 10 damage to Teclis, leaving him with only 6 wounds. The Sentinels and Cathalar then deal 1 wound to the Bloodstalkers, who manage to kill 3 Sentinels in return. Rounding out combat, Teclis does 2 damage to Morathi. While their aggressive play has put a ton of pressure on their foes, the Daughters of Khaine again score only 2 points.
Okay, so the evil empire of Morathi strikes back.
Yeah.
Got the one spell that kind of mattered off. It would have been nice to have Mind Razor, but got the Mirror Dance with my general. So I popped Morathi on the other side of the table, moved the Witch over here as well. So by doing that, was able to consolidate on my left flank a little bit more. And then pushed up, teleported the Shadow Stalkers with Morathi. Morathi made a 10-inch charge, got into Teclis, did some work, which was great. And the 3 bow snakes also ran in and charged the Sentinels and killed a few. So not enough to regain the objective, and I'm still going to be down in points. I'm only scoring 2 this round, which really hurts. So kind of need to win a priority, I think, at this point, because if not, Jordan scores another 5 automatically. All in all, pretty happy with how that went as a Daughters of Khaine turn. Teclis is in a real vulnerable spot right now. So it gives me a real shot at the auxiliary and a real chance to come back. So
yes, sir.
Excited about the priority.
So let's go. 1.
3.
That's all right. It's yours.
There we go. Okay. Going into Daughters of Khaine, top of turn 3.
No doubt. All right, let's do it.
Morathi Khaine has Black Horror of Ulgu and the Blood Rack Viper unbound, and Mind Razor is auto-unbound by Teclis. The Hag Queen fails both Witch Brew and the Sacrament of Blood Prayer. Then to finish things off, the Medusa casts Mirror Dance but has it unbound as well. In the shooting phase, the Shadow Stalkers kill a Sentinel and the Shadow Queen deals 2 wounds to Teclis. Both the Blood Sisters and the Shadow Stalkers make their charges, but the combat phase starts off as the High Warden's Moonfire Flask takes out a Blood Sister. Diving into the action, the Shadow Queen looks to finish off Teclis, but only manages to deal 1 wound, leaving him with 3 remaining. The Sentinels and Cathalar follow up by dealing no damage, and the Shadow Stalkers kill the remaining 4 Sentinels. Teclis then deals 2 wounds back to the Shadow Queen. The Blood Sisters kill 3 Wardens and also deal 3 wounds to the Cathalar. The Wardens use their casualties to break Shining Company, allowing them to pile in the full 3 inches instead of just 1, killing 3 Blood Sisters in return. The combat phase ends as the Blood Sisters use their Crystal Touch, finishing off the Cathalar. While Teclis lives, the Daughters of Khaine score 5 victory points, a good step towards mounting a comeback.
Daughters of Khaine, turn 3, top of the round, and it was eventful and entertaining, but unfortunately not all that we wanted.
Not all that you wanted.
Not all that I wanted. Definitely all that Jordan wanted, that's for
I'm
sure.
Happy.
So Morathi stuck around. I can't think of anything in the hero phase that was that eventful.
Just unbinding a lot of your spells.
Unbinding all of my spells, and I couldn't make anybody fight again because I wasn't yet in combat. Made a charge with the Shadow Stalkers. Those got in and finished off the Sentinels.
And sorry, Morathi also was just too far for you to make the Shadow Queen attack in the hero phase.
Yes, exactly.
Which would have been huge.
Yeah, she was within 18, but not wholly within 24, but not wholly within 24. Yeah, that was a huge difference. That meant that I shot my shot to try and be safe into Teclis for Morathi's gaze. She did damage, but then in combat rolled 3 or 4 2s. Failed to wound with her tail attack on a 2, and ended up only doing 1 damage to Teclis, even though he was down to 4 wounds at that point going into combat. So Teclis still alive, 3. So Lumineth is about to dominate another magic phase. And the worst thing about that for me was not just killing Teclis and the magic, but I'd say even more so than that, the fact that the Wardens here have the 5-up.
Yep.
Because it's the difference. I would have put the 10 mortals into the Wardens if I knew that I didn't have the 5-up, even leaving your Cathlar alive.
And even, putting more attacks into them. You probably, just with the attacks you did put, kill another 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but now in a bit of a tough spot for Daughters of Khaine, hoping to just weather out the storm here and hopefully win a priority again. It's never a good spot to be in, but to try and finish off Teclis and hold on to some more points. So... Yeah, we'll go into, unless there's anything else.
No, 100%, all
We'll
good.
go into Lumineth.
Yeah, excited to have Teclis on the table, so
let's
see what we do.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Teclis immediately gets to work, dealing 6 damage with Storm of Searing White Light, then casting Protection of Teclis and Calming Zephyr, healing 1 wound. The Lord Regent casts Greater Power of Hysh on the 10 Wardens, Sentinels, and himself, while the 30 Wardens cast Power of Hysh on themselves. The Sentinels then cast Ethereal Blessing on Teclis, and Teclis teleports the Sentinels to free up their shooting and keep them safe from the Shadow Queen. Both Teclis and the Wardens retreat to consolidate in a more defensible position. In shooting, the Sentinels kill 3 Shadowstalkers and deal 3 wounds to the Shadow Queen, leaving her with only 1 remaining. Ending their turn, the Realm Lords score 3 points and maintain their lead.
All right, so Lumineth turn 3, bottom of round 3. As we can see, I kind of just pulled out of combat. Again, I don't need to take wounds. I don't need to, kill your stuff right now. I'm sitting healthily on the objectives. So, again, obviously pulled Teclis out. I teleported the Sentinels away and created this little bubble, actually, that looked perfectly Teclis-sized. But unfortunately, I was like a quarter inch out, even if with an auto run 6, of getting over my Sentinels because of how bracketed I am.
If you had healed,
if I had healed
1 more wound,
2 more wounds,
2 more wounds.
Yeah.
Then,
so if I got the 3 on the D3, which again not super likely, but I could have positioned better with my teleport, so I didn't have to go over 2 ranks of guys. So that's my own fault. But it does cost me Teclis on the point, which is an extra point for having the monster. So yeah, unfortunately that I don't get that extra point because I'm playing the points game right now where I'm ahead and I just need to keep that lead and keep building that lead. But dropping a point there could be impactful. But Teclis is out and alive, at least at this point. I have Ethereal Blessing on him. He's got 4 wounds. You probably gotta invest. I probably can't take him off in shooting, so you might have to send something over there if you want to take him out, which you do, which means it's got to be Morathi probably, and she means she's not on the objective, and also, potentially risking herself.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Daughters with where we are right now, especially because there's a chance of a double here for Lumineth.
Yep, so we can jump right into priority.
Let's do it. I got a 4.
It's cocked. 2. All right, so you, Daughters of Khaine, win the priority. I assume you're going to take the turn here.
I'm going to take it because otherwise our lovely Lumineth Khaine is going to be bye-bye.
Yep, so she's only on 1 wound, so what can she do with her last remaining turns?
We'll see what we can do.
All right, sounds good. We'll go
Pray.
Turn 4, Daughters of Khaine going first.
In the hero phase, Morathi uses Worship Through Bloodshed to allow the Shadow Queen to shoot, but being ethereal, Teclis makes his armor save. The Hag Queen puts both Witch Brew and Sacrament of Blood on the Blood Sisters. Then Marathi casts Bloodrack Viper, killing 3 wardens, but fails Mind Razor and has Black Horror of Ulgu auto-unbound by Teclis. Lastly, the Medusa casts Mirror Dance but is unbound. At the end of the movement phase, the Medusa uses Masters of the Shadow Paths to teleport. The Medusa kills 2 wardens in shooting, and the Bloodstalkers deal 1 wound to Teclis, but Marathi fails to deal any damage. In a last-ditch effort, the Blood Sisters, Marathi, and the Shadow Queen look to charge in and cripple the Lumineth forces. Unfortunately, Marathi is only able to deal 2 wounds to the Lord Regent. In response, he and the Wardens kill 7 Blood Sisters, deal 3 wounds to the Medusa, and the final wound on Marathi herself. The outcome of the battle is looking grim for the Worshippers of Khaine, though they do manage to score 4 points.
Daughters of Khaine, top of turn 4, had an opportunity to close out Teclis. You can see he's still on the board, and Marathi isn't. So it meant I had a really tough decision. Do I hang back and just stay on there and take an extra point with Marathi, or do I pile in an attack? Decide to go all out for the attack, hoping to kill the
Lord Regent. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Marathi, 4 final bracket, so 4 attacks, ended up just kind of whiffing all there. I made a little bit of a mistake with not choosing to go first with my snakes, because I was thinking, oh, I got to go with Marathi because she'll die. She's only got 1 wound.
And she was your only chance at killing the Lord Regent. So you were trying to set up a big battle shock, to be fair.
Exactly. Yeah. So that could
different
have been
options, but
different options.
Long shot, I think.
Long shot regardless. So, I mean, maybe you kill a few more. But at this point, it was about gambles, and the gambles didn't pay off. But, yeah, that's, I think at this point, pretty clear that it's a solid Lumineth victory with Teclis showing his dominance over the Daughters of Khaine.
So right here, you do score 4 points, putting you at 13, which means we're actually tied in the game right now, but it's only midway through round 4.
Yeah.
So I have my turn where I'm scoring minimum 3 points. I could put Teclis on here for 4. Good chance I can take this objective. Good chance I could even put a body or 2 there or something.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm still in the advantage, and you've run out of tools to try and claw it back.
Yeah, and with the point lead, there's not a way I can hang on. Even if I was left with 1 Khainite Shadow Stalker and could teleport, it's not enough to give me points to have an edge. So it's a great game. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think looking at this game, we were kind of talking about it throughout, but I think a big part of it was just who won drops. Armies are similar in certain aspects, like having strong shooting for one.
Yeah.
And me getting first turn, not only let me get my buffs up, but let me kill your shooting. Most of it, 70% of it, turn 1. meaning that, again, I still have most of my 20 block of Sentinels still here that have been chipping you down every turn and killing stuff. So in the opposite situation, I think the Bow Snakes could have had the opportunity to kill the 20 Sentinels, and we would, if you had have had first. I think just like a few, small things between, again, drops in lists being different, that would be a big one. But even just in like one or two more little things go your way. And right now we're tied on the scoreboard, but I'll pull ahead in the final turns.
For sure.
So it's just a couple small things, obviously, that kind of go my way.
And it played into the auxiliaries too, right?
Yep.
So
But sorry, there's another big thing that didn't go your way in terms of Teclis surviving. Like that's what, like, again, Marathi doing 1 wound is crazy. So very unexpected.
Yeah, it's a few turns now. So in the combat turn, she didn't do anything, and then this turn, both rounds of shooting wasn't able to get Teclis off the board, and so he was my auxiliary, and so I had to kill Teclis to get that point, and didn't get that. The other one I had was Vengeful Counter, which it just kind of worked out that the timing didn't happen. I was able to kill a few of Jordan's units, but would always be one-sided. So Vengeful Counter was not scored for me. Yep. And on your side, what you had?
Marked for Death was killing the big snake unit, which at this point you have 1 left, but I'd have 2 turns to chase her down. And it's my turn right now, so I would finish her for sure before she could like teleport away.
Yeah. And
then Overwhelm. So kill a hero with Battle Line here with Marathi going in. I did get to finish her off with the Wardens.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So I do get that one again. Potentially still get that one even if not for that. But again, so store mine here. So it was a good game for Lumineth here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Oliver, thanks for coming down for the game. It was
Thanks
great.
for having me.
Yeah, always a blast when we get to play, and great to see your daughters out. And next time we'll have to get you out here with a different army. Again, you have your Stormcast and Sons of Bahamut. So I'm sure people will be interested in seeing either of those.
I'm sure we'll get one of them down here soon.
We'll wrap the battle report up here. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this battle report, and we'll see you again soon.